Wow. Hi, Bongi. Toby. Today we're talking about sex. Who else do we have? Let's see. User 818. Today I want us to be a little bit naughty. I want us to throw out a very long-standing theory out of the window. I want to suggest that the sexual organs that we've been given are not only supposed to be used for procreation. They also have to be used, or can be used, for regeneration. Zorwa, how are you, Zorwa? Zorwa way too. Sipokazi, how are you, Sipokazi? Let's see, who do we have? Let's get the energies right. Today we're talking about sex. And not really sex in a sense of a Valentine-ish way, but sex in a form that can actually give you some life, that can regenerate you, that can heal your cells, that can repair your brain, that can make you ascend, that can awaken your third eye, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I want us to talk about. This that I think it seems to be a very hot topic, especially in the social media accounts, or social media platforms rather. Wherever where you go, people are talking about this third eye activation, kundalini energy. And I don't know what the heck do people want to do with this energy, because if it was to come about, it's not a lot of us are going to be excited about that. Foxy, how are you, Foxy? So we're waiting for 2 o'clock session. Today we're talking about sex. And if you got some few minutes to spare, please spend it with us. Hey, Nomusasi Pokazi, I can see that you followed the brother. You seemingly like what we're going to be talking about. So I often hear a lot of people speaking about them going to third dimension, going to the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, density. I don't know how many dimensions are there. Some people say 9, some people say 12. But to heck with that, because we all know that what they're talking about is change of mind, transmutation, for you to mutate, for you to move to a different level of consciousness, or to a different level of awareness, or to a different level of thinking. It probably has something to do with this enlightenment business. I don't know, maybe it does. So our network tends to be a little bit slower. The network seems to play games with me at some times. So if you are experiencing some lack on your side, please let the brother know. But nonetheless, if you can hear me or if you can see me better yet, but if you can't see me but you can hear me, follow the voice. You know what pastors will say, follow the voice. Those that are under the voice shall be blessed. Hey, treasure, oh, you see me? All right, cool. Right. So I was just getting the energies right, the networks, greeting the people, also calibrating ourselves, man, because somehow, particularly when you get to be sitting on the side of things, you don't want to speak guided by yourself. If you understand the whole thing of the biblical, by the way, when I'm speaking like this, I'm speaking about you as well. Just now you're thinking here and you're sitting, ooh, that's how it works. It works the same way with you as well. Each and every single day when you wake up, one of the things that you need to ask for is to be the channel of peace. And it's not this thing I picked it up from Wayne Dyer, Dr. Wayne Dyer, when I was listening to, he's got lot of tapes, but the one that I was listening to, the one that I used to listen to, is the power of intention. He says there, every single morning when you wake up, the universe is yearning and looking for somebody that can be the channel of peace. And you have to understand that if you take that responsibility of becoming the channel of peace, you can't be biased about that. You can't be judgy. Peace knows no judgments. Peace knows no hate. Peace knows blah, 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 blah. So that's what I was just getting right. So by the way, enough with my politics. Welcome everybody. Do you know what we're talking about today? Do you guys just want to take a guess? What are we talking about today? You know, I'm trying to contain my excitement when it comes to the subject, but I know that a lot of people actually love talking about it. Today we're talking about sex. We're talking about sex today. And while we're waiting for the people to come in, I want you guys to tell me what is it that you guys know about sex. User 467, how are you? A bit of water there and there. Let's see. So I want you guys to tell me what is it that you guys know about sex. Because the reason why I want you guys to lay up the platform, I want to see who is it that I'm talking to, so that I can try to cover the whole spectrum. Because I'm planning this afternoon to go straight to the metaphysical subject about sex. So I want us to speak about sex, but not necessarily only on a physical basis, but I want us to talk about it on a spirit basis. I want us to talk about it on a soul basis. I want us to talk about it on a frequency basis, on a resonance basis, on the energy basis, on a cellular, molecular basis. I want to show you how is it that, you know, having these lot of piece jobs can somehow hold you back. In the Bible, I think it's in the book of Colossians, it's called squandering the seed. You spilling the seed. You know the whole story, for the Christians. And if you guys don't know the scripture that I'm talking about, I think Google, it's a bit helpful now. That it is said that for those who squander the seed, they tend to remain on a regressive mode. So if you go around, you know, squandering the seed, if you know what I'm talking about. But nonetheless, I'm waiting for the people to come in through. We're starting at 2 o'clock. Today we're talking about sex. So while we're still getting together, Exe, you know what? It's not. I'm just laying up the platform out here. I mean, why you want to do that? Why you want to go and do that, you know? I'm just actually trying to drop up some teasers. We're going to promptly start at 2. Don't worry. Skawara. So, Homoto, I can see that you're here. Who else is here? I see there's 10 of us. Hey, Mesh. Sex. You know, I was wondering, why is it that every time when we speak about sex, our body tends to do, it's like, ooh. Oh, no. I feel like, you know, this afternoon session is just going to be very kinky, hey? Hey, Bantatile, how are you? So we waiting for some few people to come. I just can't wait. We're talking about sex today. And hopefully the whole fun or the whole kinkiness of it, when we finish, it will still remain. Because I want to show you a lot of things that... Hey, there's a phone call, and every time when it rings, it makes my network to be a little bit laggy. I'm done casting. And hey, you done casting? Oh, hey, networky, how to even but no maganjan, we're gonna go do this, even if it takes us 2 hours, because today I actually even prepared notes. Who would have thought? But now the notes that I prepared are just in pointers format, because I want to tell you guys so much, and I don't want to miss it out. So if you hear me maybe abruptly stopping about the topic, go do your research, because I'm just going to plant out some of the few things. And hopefully, after we spend this couple of minutes that we're going to be talking about this thing, you would have a different perspective when it comes to sex. You'd have a different perspective as to how do you dish out the piece jobs, you know. Because we know a lot of people are in between opportunities, and at some point, obviously, you know, while you... So while you're still in a waiting bay, you know, waiting for the other to get out for you to get in, somehow you might find yourself spilling yourself around, spreading yourself thin. In the Bible, it's called spilling the seed. When you spoil the seed, it's not a lot of good things that come with that. But we're waiting for 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock promptly, we're going to be starting. So, just a bit of a disclaimer for the people that have just followed the brother, if you're wondering what is it that we're talking about. Here we're talking about personal experiences. Here we're talking about not so really things that we get from the books here. Hey Mesh, hey Yatle, hey, you know what? The reason why this session is like this, the reason why I prepared up the notes, because I know it's gonna go anywhere it wants to go. So for the people that are new here to the page, if you're wondering what is it that we're talking about, we tend to get much more inclined to the energetic part of us. We tend to be speaking about a lot about resonances, about vibrations. Some days you'll find us speaking about Kundalini, depending on how excited we are. Some days you'll find us talking about the enlightenment, the cave of Brahman. Some days you'll find us talking about the yin and the yang, the Bhagavad Gita, the Quran, the Bible, the Torah, whatever. What I'm trying to say to you, the long and short of it is, here we don't have any form of belief. We're not anti, we're not pro. Here we're trying to actually unpack those beliefs that we have, because unfortunately a lot of us have been holding us back. So a lot of us are here gathered together. You see, it's not a lot of people, but it will be sufficing for me to say that it's a lot of people that are quite tired of living a mundane life. Not to say the mundane life, it's not cool. It's cool, but we want to know deeper about this. We want to go a little bit metaphysical. We're still quoting, obviously, from scientific researchers. We're not taking things from the sky only. So if you love what we're talking about, or if you love the channel, or if you love whatever that you see, or even if you hate it, to hell with it. Just like it. Follow the brother. If you got some comments, questions, and if you got them wondering what we're talking about today, we're talking about sex. So, let's talk about the normal things about it. And I asked some people here on the comments sections, but clearly no one wants to tell me about it. But apparently, when the pleasures get measured using that barometer that they use, the highest pleasure that any person or any existentialism or any existential organelle can ever enjoy is that one of organism. You know, orgasm. You know, the orgasm, as they tell you, the greatest pleasure that you can ever experience on earth, it's that one of sex. Nothing surpasses that. Yeah, you can try, you know, you can have money, but at the end of the day, you know how the money works. You want to get more of that. You can have this, you can have the power, you can have this, you can have whatever. But eventually, all of us are almost somehow intrinsically drawn up to this pleasure center. But unfortunately, in as much as it's such a beautiful thing to have, unfortunately, in as much as it's such a kinky thing, you know, that thing that people talk about, especially the Christians, particularly when you speak to the more religious people, every time when you speak about sex, their body tends to be like, ooh. But it's funny for me because your existence, you and me, we became to be who we are as a result of that thing that we don't want to talk about. Me and you, unless obviously when you were bought at the store, you know. You became as a result of those two reproductive organs when they did that big bang. Then your ass came about. Apparently some of the stats say the whole process of procreation, it's a very funny process. The odds are your ass shouldn't have been here, because some people are talking about around about like 7 million spermatomas. Some people talk about 14 million spermatoses. But all around that race that has been ran, only you actually is going to come about. So what I'm trying to show you is this happens to be the same magical thing, but it's the same thing that can also destroy you if you don't know how to handle it. Now, I want to warn you a little bit, because I don't want to get excited and get a little bit deeper, especially for the people that don't have an idea what is it that we're talking about here on the channel. Let me just check out the comments. Like, so, it's a lucky packet. And I don't want you guys to get your minds too much into the gutter. I want us to talk about the metaphysical part of this. The metaphysical part of it is, I want to show you that how is it that when you get intimate with somebody, you can exchange not only fluids, which by the way you exchange when you do the whatever that you do when you engage in a sexual or intimate session, when your body copulates or when your body consummates, somehow your karmic body tends to be in a relationship with the karmic body of the person that you're laying with. So whoever that you're laying with, you're not only releasing the juices, but you're also taking in something. And this gets to be a little bit tricky, especially when you have a lot of, but I don't mean to scare you. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it fun. I want to dish out this knowledge, but I don't want to make you like, ooh, sex. By the way, even if I was to try to derail you or to detract you from it, you still do it. Particularly the religious people. You know the religious people. They'll tell you that sex before marriage is a sin. But have you ever known the real truth of those who are saying that you should not engage? Funny enough, especially when it comes to a religious perspective, I find it odd that the Creator, the so-called magnificent God, can give us organs, but at the same time stop us from using them. And it's very unfortunate that the religion sects are not only advocating for getting the pleasure out of us, but they're also stopping us from using our brains as well. I don't know if you have witnessed it lately, that a lot of people or a lot of churchgoers have been decisively been stopped from using their brains. Because every time when you try to do that, they say, whoa. But nonetheless, that's a politic for another day, so I'm not here for that. I want us to talk about the sex. Now, hey, once more, be kind, don't be killing me. Now, and guys, let's keep it kinky in this way. Let's keep it in a conversational basis, because you hear where I just went. Now for me, I just came here to speak about the metaphysical part of the sex. But unfortunately, you gotta lace it up with a little bit of the exoteric science as to how to reach the orgasm, as to what the heck is the orgasm, as to what is the fluid that comes out of you, such and such, I don't know much about that. My attention, by the way, happens to be on the other side. But if you happen to have something to share, for the people that are too much into this intimate life, we'd like to take some notes. Let me see. Good afternoon. Indeed, I vanished from the meeting to be, hey, Joy. Joy, you just went off like that. By the way, for the people who are wondering what the heck is Joy talking about, we have a WhatsApp group. We have it's a /book club, it's a /family. So in there we share ideas, we share tips, we share conversations, we share books, we share a whole lot amount of things. So this morning when I announced that we're going to be talking about the sex afternoon, Joy said, I am going to skip the meeting. My word, I hope you're not going to get in trouble. I'm trying to lace up this topic, but I don't want us to lose the whole context of it. I'm trying to make it as fun as possible, but I can't, for some reason, not to show you the seriousness of it, particularly since, well, we know the day-to-day sex, it's all about taking that protruding thing, putting in that lying thing, then you put it in there, then that friction, obviously, the vaginal tract takes it, and the juices gets flown around, and somehow, this thing also tends to make people... You see how powerful this act is. It's not only the highest pleasurable center, but it's a life force center as well. But you have to understand that if this energy is not properly handled, it can also wreak havoc. By the way, if you're wondering what is it that I'm talking about, if you've been a little bit attuned to this channel or attuned to the studies of the East, you will know that your body is an energetical being. And for that energy to cause and travel and traverse through your body, it does so by the use of the chakras, which are the energy centers. By the way, you happen to have 7 main chakras in your body, although some other people tell you 14. If you want to know more about the 14, get me on the side. I got some few resources that I can send you to show you that in actual fact, when you're standing underneath your feet, you got chakras that are extending and blah, blah, blah. But I'm not here for that today. We're talking about sex, because I know a lot of people are clued up. They like, tell us more, tell us more. Yeah, but Joy for president, I tell you, avoid for her. But Joy, don't get in trouble. Like. So I want to get, straight into the subject of the day. Now, hey, Zaza, how are you, Zazo? Now, in as much as there are fluids that you bodily exchange with a person that you become intimate with. That's not the end of it. You know, some of the people, obviously, it depends, I mean, what works your lyrical, or it depends what blows your hair back. It also depends how kinky do you want. You know, some people go straight, exchanging of the fluids. Some people, you know, tend to cover it up. Zaza, today we're talking about sex, but the metaphysical part of it. But, you know, you can't just skip it without, you know, talking about other energies that are related with it. The sex energies are they are not only vital, but they are also creative. They are the creation, because it's through those protruding organs, or it's through those reproduction organs, as you call them, that you can bring a life on this existence. So this is not only the energy that you need to play around with, it's energy that you need to watch out when you put it to work. That's why I was just sending a stern warning for the people that were fanangadi peace jobs. Wabo. Because here's the sad part about the peace jobs, or the sad part about the anatomy of sex, or the intimacy. Whoever that you lay with, you don't only exchange the juices, but you also exchange the karmic substances. You exchange their spirit self. You also take in their whole psychological being. If that's not enough, it gets more. Anytime when you engage in an intimacy, obviously when it leads to, you know, let's not be kids here, we all adults. I should have actually said, you know, PG something when we're going to be talking about this. But you have to understand that when you are laying with somebody, you are exchanging your guys' energies. So it's very unfortunate that these days, you know, you never go to a club, or you never hook up with somebody and ask them, are your chakras clean? We never do that. But that would be a nice thing to do, eh? So unfortunately, the saddest part about this is you end up inheriting, you end up taking in what was not supposed to be yours in the first place. To a point whereby you find that your karmic body gets a bit bigger, your karmic substance get a bit longer. That's where the whole reincarnation story tends to get in. As is yourself, you are a mess. Now imagine with a lot of clump of peace jobs that you're dishing around, how many peoples are you taking with you? It tends to get a bit dark when it gets there, to be like, huh? So yeah, that's how it is. Let me just read some comments. That's why I'm scared. I should never be a sacrifice. Hi, Tidi. So, hi, Criselda. Dala, Sugar, thank you very much for joining the brother and following. And if you want to do the same thing, do what Dala did. Follow the brother. I know that you guys are here about sex, but we're talking about something bigger than that. We're talking about how that energy needs to be calibrated. That energy does not only have to be reused for reproduction, it can also be used for regeneration. Take that word, write it down. Regeneration, genes, genesis, genealogy, genes meaning beginning. So you gotta, don't be fooled by the English. You know, the English will play around with you, depending how much data of English do you have. You know, come on. Maybe I will get the help there. As a person that we're both. There's a lot that goes on about that, you know, happily accepted, but now sexually we can't move on. I'm not laughing because it's a funny. It's because every time when I chuckle, sometimes it proves to me that us as human beings, we have, instead of making things simple, we've tended to make them complex. So that's why I normally chuckle about them, to thinking, eish. Here we are, we thought that sex is only about making babies. But on the other hand, sex is also about awakening yourself. Here's a secret, or the sacred, or the secretion. You saw what I just did there. When they say the secret, it's what we call oh, hey, I see that somebody's sending something, but I'll check it out because I'm using the same device. I'm not ignoring your WhatsApp, but if you're on a platform right now, hoo-ha! And anybody else that is here, if you want to ask a question, if you want to just pour your heart out, or if you just want to, you know, be purplish, You know, most people, when it comes to sex, what does it mean? It means either, it means, people, when it comes to sexual language, it means sexually frustrated. It's either you get too much or you get. So back to, let's get to work, people. Let's stop gibberishing, or now, sex is good, all of that. And according to the medical dictionaries, these things that we have that are called the reproductive organs, they are also called the gonads. The so-called males have somebody that looks like me, we've been given something that protrudes out. We call that a male. Somebody that has things that are protruding out here, somebody that have curvaceous body, a bit of a thicker body, and obviously their reproductive organ, it's a bit like this. It's concaved. It's not out. It's inside. It's intuition. It's not expressive. It's impressive. God's voice. And you wonder why I tell you that God, it's actually masquerading as a woman. God is a woman, and she's black. Poof. Oh, I know, I just grieved a lot of people right there. But one day we'll have a talk about that. Sorry, I'm just having my own show here, getting high on my own supply. Now, welcome everybody. By the way, if you're here for the first time, you kind of like what the brother is talking about, follow the channel. Even if you don't like what the brother is talking about, nonetheless, still follow the channel, because I think it's the time now that we start doing things the opposite way. A lot of people have been hating for no reason. You know what we decided to do here? Just love for no reason. Just give for no reason. Because, people have been hating, seemingly, and they've been doing it very well. So now we just decided to become those anomalies, to be like, and it's raining here, it's a bit drizzly. Hopefully it doesn't get too much. Otherwise, I'm probably going to have to change the location, and it's going to disturb a bit of that. But I'll try to bear it out. Let's try to get to the subject. Now, it's not expressive, it's impressive, yeah. That's why when you go to the yin and the yang, almost that yin and the yang, that roundish thing that has the black, that has the white. The black, it's the yin, it's a feminine. The white, it's a yang, it's that. So normally the way how I do that, almost men tend to yank. So when men yank, that's a yang. The yin, it's that dark substance. It's that quiet. It's that it's a right hand brain. It's those, emotional kind of type of jazz. Let's do this. It's about to get stronger. I'm going to try to move. So I'm not going to stop the whole thing. I'm just going to pause it. So if you're hearing me, you see blah, blah, blah happening. I'm just moving. Unfortunately, where I'm going to go, it's going to be a bit dark. But so long as you can get my voice. So, or should I bear it out? Maybe he doesn't want us to talk about sex. So, here's where it gets a bit tricky. It is said when you study Hindu, Sanskrit, or when you study your energetic body, that is your chakras, your reproduction system or your sexual organs are controlled by your root chakra. Number one chakra. You know that one that you have that we normally talk about by the vertebrae, right there by the tailbone? It's right there. Now, hey Malebu, how are you Malebu? I'm trying to construct up a complex subject here, and I was disturbed a little bit by the rain, but I'm trying to get back to the whole thing because we're talking about sex today. But I want to show you a little bit of metaphysical science or the metaphysical background in as much as I know. And I'm not saying it's the truth, and I know that there's a lot of people that have probably done a research that is way, way further than mine. But for those people, that are just like me, that are still learning, I just got way too excited, and I thought I should share it with you guys to give you some of the few insights and show you some of the few ideas that you can take on if you want to heal yourself, if you want to ascend, if you want to transmutate, if you want to awaken your kundalini, if you want to enlighten, if you want to third ventricle, third eye kind of type of shandis. If you want to do that, or if in J, you just want to become yourself, you just want to have a good life, you just want to have an insightful life. If you're tired of hating, I'm talking to the people that are just like that. So if you got some further insight about it, please paste it on the comments so that we can see how far we can go with the subject. Now, we just done, with a nice part of sex. We're talking about the not so nice part of it. And I want to preface it again, I'm going to say it again to say, when you lay down with a person, it's not only juices or fluids that you exchange. You also exchange the energies. Each and every single one of us at any given moment in time, we generate energies. Now it depends where your energies are. And you know most energies, you measure them with frequency. What's a frequency? Frequency is nothing but movement per second. It's measured in hertz. You know those hertzians? They'll say 100 hertz, 125 hertz, 125 hertz. Unfortunately, if, say for an example, you mingling or you laying down or you laying the pipe or you being laid by or with somebody who's vibing on a lower frequency, guess what's going to happen once you're done with that? Your energetical body, your emotional body, it's going to register that. It's going to put it in your karmic substance, in your karmic body. You know, almost when you study Hindu Sanskrit, we have run about like 4 or 7 karmic bodies. It obviously opens that can of worms of reincarnation to say, why the hell are we still keeping on coming back if there's such a thing? By the way, don't quote me. Sometimes they call it, ooh, we getting dark. Now, just in case you guys are getting a little bit scared to say, ooh, it's talking about those hidden things. No, it's not hidden. There's a science. Let me show you how scientific it is. Your heart, yours and mine, your heart is known to emit energy. We call them vibes. Have you ever met somebody and you just look at them and you're like, hi, me and you, hi. You guys have ever even spoke? Or have you ever seen somebody like from a distance and you're like, whew. So, those are the vibes. But now, this is what has been said. And this is a scientific approach as well, but I'm going to try to explain it to you guys in a little bit of a, that way. Low vibrations. And when I say low vibrations, I'm not saying bad vibrations. Whoa. Whoa. Right here, we need to make a linguistical correction. You'll find out most of the times here, we don't like using words like negative. We don't use words like low. We don't use words like bad in a derogatory manner. No. We mean something that needs to be heightened. When you raise your vibrations, don't make a mistake of thinking that you're leaving the low ones. You'll keep on going back there. When you raise your vibrations, you take the light to that lower self part of you. That's why you find a lot of people having difficulties in forgiving themselves. It's because somehow religion has advocated this thing of you need to hate your past. It cannot be further from the truth. It's the biggest lie that has ever been concocted. But I'm not there about the politics. Today we're just having a good time. Provided that the rain is not going to squander the whole thing. Speaking about squandering, what happens when you sleep with somebody? These comments, the way I read them, I read T's once first and I read my levels after. Now, they both killed me, especially the way how I read them. I mean, because we're not my level, you're speaking about those, and T's talking about sleeping with somebody. Now, here's what happens. Here's what happens. Don't try to take whatever that I say on a pure literal basis, by the way. The reason why I'm sending that warning is because I know that our brains can be very creative. But it's a very complex way on how it goes. But I'm just giving you guys the long and short. That's why I always say to you guys, go do your further research. Don't take my word for it. But oh my word, I think my day is made. Now, cool, back to the subject. We are just hypothesizing, right? Don't take it too literal. Let's hypothesize. Let's say now, you laying down with somebody that is, and now when you get there, obviously the energy that's going to be exchanged, it's going to be done, but now it depends if you're doing it consciously or unconsciously. Are you aware of what you're doing, or are you just doing it on an automatic mode? Are you guys aware of what you're trying to build out of that union? Because unfortunately, to raise your vibrations, you're going to need a pure intention. Not even about sex, even wherever you go. When you go do healing, you have to be intentional. When you do meditation, you have to be intentional. When you're being kind, you have to be intentional. When you teach, you have to be intentional. When you heal, you have to be intentional. You can't be dabbling with these. This is the energy. You don't play like that with the electricity. That's why I laugh a lot at people that say, yeah, you see me, I want to raise up my kundalini. I'm like, whoa! You got no idea what the fuck is coming. Because when it's coming, it's coming. So, can you tell me when somebody has... So now, what happens there, maybe you lay with somebody like that. Fortunately enough, there's a term that explains that. It's called Tantra. Tantra. You know Tantra? Tantra. Back in the days, if you do a bit of a history, you will know that there used to be a difference. There's a difference between Tantric Buddhism, and there's a difference between... Oh, my word. So it's starting to drizzle a bit. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try... If you guys... yeah. Let the rain come, baby. Let the rain come. Can you guys see me? Black Roots. Can you Hey, can you manifest during squandering? Hey, am I back? Oh, yes, it looks like I'm back. Can you manifest during squandering? Guys, you guys are getting ahead of me. Not with the kids. It goes back to the intention. My consciousness must be pure during. But I'm always intentional. Hey. Okay, let me just make a linguistical difference here. When I speak about intimacy, there's a difference when I speak about orgasm and the energy that you manifest within. Because remember, the act that we've been taught since we grew up, it's the act of ejaculation, the act of coming, the act of procreation. But did you know that before medical books were transliterated and translated, these organs, these things that you have, some people call it a penis, some people call it a vagina, those things were called regenerative organs. Right now we know them as reproduction organs. It simply shows you that we are outward people. In the West, we are left-hand-brained people. We don't believe anything that is beyond 5 senses. If people tell you about that they can levitate, you like, who can you now? If people tell you that they can do the act of telepathy, if some people tell you that they're clairvoyant, if people tell you that such a thing as telekinesis exists, whereby you can just move the object, you just sit in your ass down, you'll be like, bottle of wine, come to me. Wouldn't that be nice? Now, oh, you there on the Tantra? Oh, yeah, let's get back to the Tantra then. The whole thing about the Tantra. Thank you, Nikita, and everybody else that is here. There was a bit of a rain, I had to move. So it's a bit dark where I am, but if you can see me, just follow the voice. Thank you for the gifts. I really, really appreciate it. For the people that are sending up the likes, the people that are keeping me busy, the people that are keeping me excited, the people that are keeping the channel afloat, the people that are just sticking around listening for nothing, the people that love the channel, the people that hate the channel, the people that share the channel, the people that like the channel. You know yourself. Thank you. Now, back to this thing of Tantra. There's a lot of mix-up that happened when you study the history. Some religions, particularly here in the West, taught us to hate, to suppress, to shy away, to not talk about. Because every time when you speak about sex, people's bodies like, ooh. I mean, like now, every time, I remember when I introduced it to, when I told my wife before I went online, I said, you know what, love, today I'm going to be talking about sex. And she's like, ooh, what about it? I'm like, no, not that part, but the other part. Because this is a part that we don't understand as people. I mean, like Black Roots asked a question to say, can you be able to manifest when you squander? There's a scripture in the Bible that says, they did not know. There's a scripture in the Bible, I don't know, is it in Chronicles or is it in Colossians? I don't know where it comes from, but it says, squandering your seed, it's a sin. Squandering your seed, it's a sin. There's a bit of a story there where somebody was ordered to go and sleep with somebody's wife and somebody whatever. I don't know, I forgot the name of the gentleman, or is it the lady, or is it I don't know. Something happened there. But unfortunately, this guy, just before he came, he took it out. You know, the whole move. Don't try to take me there. Hey. Now, because I'm trying to keep my head clean here, you know, I'm dealing up with very professional people. People stole their time from work and they don't want to be hearing about it. So, but if you like what we're talking about, thank you very much for the likes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you, Catherine. I see that Dr. Mkhosi joined as well. And if you want to share the life as well, you can do that. If you want to know what is it that we're talking about sex. But we're not talking about the external part of sex. We're talking about the internal part of sex. In the Bible, they say that if you squander your seed, you're committing a sin. But before I lose you, or before you lose me right here, let's define this word sin first. S-I-N. You know, there's a sin that this Bible is, or the Bible is talking about. It says the wages of sin is death. So the wages of sin tends to become death. But let's talk about this word sin. What does it mean? If you are into a sport of archery, or you haven't heard about it, the sport of archery is that one when you know, the bows where they'll put you there, that roundish thingy. They'll color it, they'll tell you out at the extreme it's 5, as it goes down it's 4, then it goes down it's 3, then it's 2, then it's 1, and then it's a bull's eye, that reddish thing that you have to hit. Now, in the science or in the sports of archery, by the way, it's a sport, it's a recreational sport, you know, and it's not reserved for, it's also for you. You can take it on. Every time when you go to a retreat, I mean, I know a lot of people, when you give them a brochure, they'll say, archery, no, this is not for me. You know, it's a good sport to have, or to engage in. Forget a bit about the mountain climbing. Just do something a little bit unorthodox, you know, which is what we're planning to have by this upcoming retreat that we're going to be having by the end of March. We're still trying to keep the logistics together. We're waiting for the people, obviously, to finalize up the registrations so that we can take a second step. Because the step that we're looking into taking is gathering all the details of the people that have jotted their names down, the people that have registered, so that we can put the logistics together. So for the people not registering for it, they're actually holding everybody back. But enough with that. We're here for that. I'll finish up with it. Who are you? Just found you today. Oh, you in? Oh, thank you, Tabile. Who am I? Stick around. I'll tell you about it later. We're actually pleasurable to have you as well. Thank you for joining us. So, what happens is, the seed that you, I'm speaking about the sin. So in a sport of archery, when you miss, or the further you go from the bull's eye, that thing, it's translated as sin, meaning missing the point. I want to say it again. And if you guys are making 1 + 1, you see where I'm going. Hold on. Hopefully I'm going to challenge 2 standing beliefs in your life. That the sin that has been spoken about, it's not necessarily the action, but it's if your intention is not aligned. When you are missing the point, you are committing sin. Not sin in the sense of you know, sleeping around or stealing somebody's thing, or, you know, conniving people. Which hopefully a lot of us will learn to stop doing, because it's not a nice sport, you know. Tricking people is not a good game, because it doesn't end up well. Joy. Hey, so what happens is, if then sin means missing the point, it means that if the Bible says the wages of sin is death, meaning when you miss the point, you die. Whenever when your intention it's not aligned, if you have any at all, ignorance is death. The Bible even goes on and says it. It says, my people perish because of the lack of knowledge. So ignorance, it's missing the point. Yesterday I spoke about the demons that you have to deal with inside of you, and people thought I'd speak about the demons outside. No, 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 no. You created hell in your heart. That's why your life is such a drag. And when I say that, I'm speaking about myself as well, because I got my days. Oh, I got my days. I mean, like 2-3 couple of days back, if you guys picked it up. Oh, and the brother had to do a whole lot of kaka work. Because one of the things that I've seen about beliefs is they run on an unconscious basis. They run on a subconscious basis, meaning the mind that you can see. You know, sub. You know what sub means? Sub means under. So sub, you know. So every time when they say subconscious, it's anything that is out of surface, not out of 5 senses. That's why even now, me and you, we can't explain what pumps our hearts. We can't explain what flows our blood. We don't know it. We just think, some people call it rest and digest system, parasympathetic system. Some people call it subjective self. Some people call it electric or chi or vital life force or whatever that you want to call it. Back to the topic of the sex. Just now I'll go, manifestation. So this is what happens. Whenever when you squander a seed, and when I say a seed, women have seed as well. You thinking, oh, is this the seed is this whitish thing that protrudes and gets out of this thing? No, it's not that. The spermatozoa is not the only seed. It's part of the seed, but women do have a seed as well. Those vaginal juices that you take out, those whatever that you take out whenever when you're doing whatever, or those things that just normally go out wherever you are. By the way, just a bit of a health tip, just to drop it off here. I don't know who wants to use this. If you look at the reproduction organs, particularly the females, the vaginal tract is actually acidic in nature. It's not supposed to be pH. It's not supposed to be alkaline. It's acidic in nature because it's where life comes from. So there needs to be a lot of enzymes that kills the bad guys. That's why you find that when you go to a doctor, if maybe perhaps you're suffering for a little bit of excessive, excessive discharges, for an example, you need to be very wary of taking these things that are scented. Because these things that are scented are overly cleaning or overly gentrifying your vaginal tract, and it gets to pick up a bit of challenges because it rots and it dries up and it develops that thrush. It's meant to be like that. I don't know. If you want to know why, when maybe perhaps you kick the bucket, you can just ask whoever that is there where we are promised to go. Because we've been sold this idea that the heaven we will see it after we die. So once you get there, you can ask and you can bring the answers down to us. We just don't know. That's how nature is. Back to the subject. If then you squandering, meaning if you taking the juices out instead of inside, you are committing sin. And the wages of sin is death. And if you don't allow these juices to flow through you, to be ingested internally of you, you are squandering it. Therefore, as a result, your energetical life cannot be able to transcend. Before I get a little bit dark about it, let's make a practical example. You've probably have studied some bit of Eastern philosophy. Hopefully, I think you do. If you haven't, you can join our WhatsApp group. We from time to time share our books. It's a WhatsApp group /book club /family, /blah, blah, blah, whatever that we're talking about there. It's all about healing. If you study the Eastern philosophy or ancient texts, you'll find that there are a lot of people that tend to go celibate for life. Why? Have you asked yourself? Celibate is, oh, by the way, when I say celibate, a lot of people will be like, oh, there you go with that English. Celibate is an act of not engaging in sexual activities. Yeah, you can have platonic sex, platonic relationship. Imagine platonic. You know what's a platonic relationship? Platonic relationship, it's an intimate relationship without sex. It's taken from the word of Plato. You know the Greek chap. You know, you got Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Marcus Aurelius. Those thieves that went there through that chap, they call him Alexander. They're so great, where they went and invaded the Library of Alexandria. By the way, I learned a new name about that library. The name of that library was not actually Alexandria. It's called the Library of Om. We'll talk the history about that because it has something to do with Aristotle built a library where he wanted to steal the... But it's a story for another day. Back to the subject of the sex, because a lot of people will be like, oh, no, then take us there. We want to talk about this today. And by the way, the reason why I laugh or I do that, I want to show you, or I actually even spoken for 50 minutes. Can you believe it? I want to show you guys that, Black Roots. Hold on. Don't take them there. Let's do this. I'm going to try to change the mode of connection. Just in case something happens. Let me check it out. Block chakra. A bit deeper into these ancient texts, you will know that your body... Is it back? Yeah, it's back. If you go a little bit deeper into these texts, you will know that your body, it's 90% fluid. Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Mkhosi. I really appreciate it. So now, if your body has 90% fluids, and for the people that have studied a bit of energy work, I think a bit of thermodynamics or the world of hydraulics, you will know, Hakitina, have you realized it by your house? If maybe perhaps your water for some reason was shut, when it gets opened, not all the taps can take out the water. So what makes the difference is the pressure. So I've been looking for this for the longest of time. I've been trying to find out, what does intimacy fluids have to do with the Kundalini energy? Because for some reason, it has something to do with that. But you can't really put your finger down to it. You know, somehow you just gotta have to synthesize the knowledge. Because that's what you have to do, especially if you are in this area. You have to synthesize. You have to know a bit of Hinduism. You have to know a little bit of Buddhism. You have to know a little bit of ZCC. You have to know a little bit of Rhema. You have to know a little bit of Roman Catholic. You have to know a little bit of ENCA. You have to know a little bit of this. You have to know a little bit of Moja Love. You have to know a little bit of relationships. What I'm trying to say to you guys is you have to know everything. Because the truth is in fragments. It's not in one place. That's why I laugh my ass off every time when a religious person will tell you, no, you see, my pastor said I should not get into those horoscopes. Huh? What's horoscope? But astrology. The Bible is a book of astrology. It's talking about the sun. It's talking about the pineal. It's talking about, well, I don't know. But then coming back to the sex issue, you know. So when you get to the sex issue, you tend to realize that the more that you take out the seed, the more you're squandering the pressure of the oil. Because that oil or that seed that you took out somehow has to travel somewhere. So if you are into the Eastern philosophy, what I'm going to be talking to you guys, it's not really going to be something that you see on TV, you know. So if you don't hear what I'm saying, tell me so that I can, you know, patch you up in. Us as human beings, we are bipedal. We got 2 feet. We're standing up straight. We're not like dogs or we're not like animals which are standing on their 4 feet. So what happens is, in our development, if you study anthropology, in our development, nature has it that it figured out that, you know, I want to see what's going to happen if I was to give this guy the additional part of the brain. which is called the neocortex, your prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, your new kid in the block, you know. This is the brain, by the way. Your thinking brain is the same brain that when you want to slap your boss, your prefrontal cortex says, you slap your boss, you're going to be fired. But let me give you a bit of the background so that you can get the essence of the joke. We are triune brain beings. Yeah, you got one brain in your head, but we got three brains. Our brains are structured this way. You got your animal brain, which is your primary. Some people call it the reptilian brain. Some people call it the R complex. Some people call it the animalistic self. You know you got that in humans. You know you got that, you know. The lives are... So that part of you that is animalistic, nature added some part of you as well. It added what we call the second part of the brain, the limbic system, your emotional brain. So you and your dog, the only thing that keeps you different or that sets you different from it, it's your thinking brain. Because your dog has emotions. Yeah, even though somehow we don't understand how they express them, but the dog has emotions. If you wonder that, have you ever witnessed when you see if one cow was to die, check around what do they do? I think the same goes with elephants as well. I didn't even get to my notes, and you see, that's why I wrote up the notes here. I didn't even check whatever that I wanted to speak about. I wanted to speak about, but it's fine. Let's just go. Let's just see how far we can take it. I understand that I'm well away over my hour. I just changed the mode of connection. So Joy, if you got whatever that you wanted to get, you can go back to work, eh? Hopefully you got something of value, but if you didn't, it means that we need to go read more. So we'll have to send more books. So let me just cut them head by head. We'll talk about precisely 6 o'clock in the evening. The act of sex, when you squander the oil, or when you squander the seed. By the way, I didn't use that word oil by mistake. I want to bring you guys to a very, very, not so famous topic, but I know a lot of you guys know about it. I'm just saying for the people that haven't actually gotten the crap of it, or the creep of it. In your body, there's this thing that is called the oil, or it's called the fluid. There's a reason why it cannot be categorized, because it's not easy biologically to define what's in the fluid, because biology or nature is not to be fragmented. The reason why we're paying such a huge price is because Pumzile, you know what I do with these lives, ne? TikTok automatically records them for me for the last 90 days. A lot of people have been showing interest up with these lives for me to send it to them. Because for me personally, I mean, you know that whole thing. I don't like listening to my ass. I mean, every time I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. There you go again. That's why I normally tell you guys that don't take whatever that I say for the absolute. Do your research, read the books, follow whatever that you're following. Don't somewhere now drop your beliefs just because Tsidiso says, no, you see me, our religion. No, don't do that. I'm not selling anything here. If you misunderstand me, well, that's my disclaimer for days. So what I do is, if you want it, because this is a self-funded channel, if you want it, I can download them for you, but they're quite big in size. So from my side, resources, my hand tends to, it can't actually get to the pocket. So if you want a video, you can get hold of me on the side, then I can send you some. And obviously, if you got the long and short of what I'm saying is, I'll send it to you. If you want them, show up an interest, and I'll show you how then it works, and I can send them up to you. Because up until even today, I don't think I've actually even downloaded one. It's a bit creepy when you look at yourself, or when you listen when you listen to your ass, unless you have a bigger part of you that is a very narcissistic being. Because I tend to find out that a lot of narcissists tend to become lovers of themselves. I think the Bible, in the book of Revelation, was talking to the narcissists. By the way, just so now you think you're not one of them, each and every single one of us has an element of narcissism. is just on things that you don't care about. Somebody might care about being opened the door for, and you might not care about it. So in that case, you behave narcissistic towards them. So being a narcissist or an empath is nothing but a mask that we put on unconsciously. So don't be sitting there and thinking, you see this empath. No, leave that story. It's going to hold you back. We spoke extensively about these two personalities. But for now, for the people that are still under the weather because of the energy that is playing against them, in a sense of them getting a lashing from the narcissists, there are a couple of ways that you can do, but the only one way that you can engage, especially you as an empath or whatever that you've been categorized to be, try to let go. Try to observe. Just watch. I know it's going to look like, or it's going to sound like, no. The thing about the so-called empaths, or whenever when you're having your empath's cap, your emotions tends to become your currency. People that are empaths, the only difference is narcissists don't spend too much on emotions. Empaths, they are very emotionally inclined. They're like, you can't do that. You know how empaths behave? They're like, you can't do that. And I mean, the narcissists be like, to hell with it. I don't know how I got there. Back to the subject. Just watch. At first stage, it's going to be like, because remember, when you watch, you don't spend energy. When you react, you spend energy. Think. So, hey, Silas, you here? I had to extend. Hey, I'm on my second hour. I'm waiting for TikTok to tell me, happy, you've been here for 90 minutes. Because this subject, I really have to go deep into it. Because we have a lot of people that are engaging in some sort of promiscuity. Or promiscuity. Hey, mlome English. Hey, I read, hey, mlome English. Mlome. So, what happens is, let's get back to the sex. Let's get back to the sex. Because this thing of empath is actually getting in my nerve. When we get to this thing of, I want to build a different point. Don't mind that thing that I dropped in earlier on. When it comes to this thing of sex, biology, for some reason, from the school of thought or from the ages as they developed, and if for you guys that are into reading, I wrote down the age here. There's an age, it's spelled like this. I want to show you guys as to where does religion come from, particularly when it comes to sex. The perceptions that religion have when it comes to sex. And when I say religion, I'm not speaking only about Christianity, I'm speaking about the religions. There's an area or there's an age, it's called the axial age. It's A-X-I-A-L age. This age, apparently, the Jews, the likes of Plato, the likes of the whole psychological movement, the Buddhas of this world, the Confucius of this world, somehow started facing or started defacing the whole sex thingy. So the whole sex thing, for some reason, from that age, it became a bit of the taboo. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. I mean, even you now, you're still not comfortable. You know, when people are passing at work, you're like, hey, tola. I'm having fun by myself here. So, that's what I wanted to introduce. Now, the oil or the fluids that you have in your body, by the way, all our bodies are made of almost 90% fluids. And when I say fluids, I'm not only speaking about water. I know water is 73 and 75 because I know a lot of fact checkers will be like, one of these TikTokers, the pseudoscience, there they go. No. Hold on. So in your body right now, you are 90% almost fluid. You got the blood, you got the cerebral spinal fluid, you got the water, you got the mucus, you got the phlegm, you got the urine, you got the spermatoza flowing somewhere. You got the vaginal fluid. The spermatoza, same as semen. I don't need to replicate that. So when I'm saying that you 90% of fluid, you and me, we are nothing but a bubbling amount of water walking around. But it tends to become a bit interesting if you get into the etymology of the whole story. CSF, yeah, see, when it comes to the cerebral spinal fluid, Silas, it works a bit funny because apparently it is said that at any given stage, where we are, you and me, at this present moment in time, we have around about like 140, 160 roundabout of cerebral spinal fluid. But in a day, your body makes something like a body. You know the body of cold drink? Plus 100 milliliters. So that's a fluid that your body makes each and every single day. But the fact that you don't know that you have it, you don't even know how to control it. There are some of the hem-hems that goes on like this. And don't quote me here. Here's part of the hem-hems that goes. Apparently, this fluid, when it gets there, when all of them are calibrated, when all of them are all balanced, there's somewhere where they need to go, because us as human beings, we are bipedal. So somehow the energies were not put horizontally like animals in us. The energies were put on vertically. When you go a little bit deeper into the Hindu script, you will know that this rod that linking up the chakras are not really linked up. They are not really physical things. So you can't really go there with a screwdriver, you'll be like, you root chakra, I want to take you out of my life. You don't do that. You have to change it in here. All is mind and mind is all. So when it comes up to this chakra business, there's this thing that is actually connecting these chakras. When you go a little bit deeper into it, they call it a shushumna. The shushumna, it's that thing that is, it's that rod. And I don't want you guys to make too much out of it. It's just a rod that's holding the energies together. Now these energies, when they are like this, hey, I see the treasure box, I'm waiting for it. Because I want to finish up with the subject so that I can get prepared for the 6 o'clock. Because morning. Where are you? Where have you been, Mocha? Morning at this time. Oh, jeez. So it is said that anytime when your energies are ready, and for some reason, if you're into astrology, we are told that every second or every 2.5 days out of 28 days, something tends to happen with you biologically. There's an oil or there's a fluid or there is something that goes up there. By the way, let me just drop this. I want to drop up 2 things, and I'm going to get off this subject because I want to build up something new. I want to drop up 2 definitions that I want you guys to look at. Right now, once we're done, or even now, I want you to type, yeah, fuck, no, we're going to have to say it. I want you to type, what's the meaning of crucifixion? A lot of us know crucifixion as being killed. But did you know that the true original meaning of crucifixion, especially when you go to etymology, the true meaning of crucifixion is to multiply 1,000-folds, not to kill. That's a one word. Second word, I want you guys to check out this Greek term. It's spelled the following. It's K-R-I-S-T-O-S, oil, Christos oil. But now I want you to look at it from the biological standpoint of view, because I don't want you to have an idea that now all of a sudden you got things in you that you can't see, and all of a sudden you just want to go throw yourself in a pit. No. There's a science, and if you want science, I will impel you to read one guy for me. I mean, he was a catalyst of the whole story. If you read Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural, if it doesn't change your life, the book's life must change. Something must happen. We've shared that book in a WhatsApp group a whole lot amount of times. If you want me to resend it again, I can do so. If you want me to send it to you privately, if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group that we're talking about as well, do that. How do you do it? Let us know here on the comment section, and I can give you some guides on how to go about it. But back to the business of the day. So, if then sex is bigger than what we know it to be, what else could it do besides this Kundalini business? Because I know a lot of people will be like, ooh, don't you want to speak about it anymore? I don't want to speak about it anymore because it's been bastardized, man. People are being misquoted. People are getting hurt. Some people are having fatalities. Some people are having some energetical bursts. Because when this thing comes, I want you guys to imagine this. When you... I don't know whether have you been at the water-controlled environment, right? Thank you, Xiao Xiao, which is one of the things that I want us to do when we go by the retreat for you guys that are coming, you know. I think around about like 50, if not 60 kilometers from where we'll be, there's a water fountain or there's a water-controlled environment there. Apparently, this water is coming from Lesotho, coming into South Africa, and that's one of the places where it goes through. I don't know what they call it. So there, it's in Clarence, there by the Golden Gate. So we were thinking maybe perhaps Ukilabana on a Saturday evening or maybe on a Monday morning before we get, you know, going other different ways. We could go out there. I want to show you that some bit of, if for an example, the water is coming at the energy that is not being expected, it can damage the whole infrastructure. And I mean, looking at the millions and billions that have been spent on that infrastructure, what I'm trying to say to you is, when the heck this energy comes about, you don't want to be there, especially if you're unprepared. That's why I'm talking about these things, hoobla, blue, blue, fixing you guys psychologically, fixing you guys consciously. You guys thinking maybe perhaps, you know, we're just talking about the kinkiness, the sex part of it. We're wasting time talking about constipation. The time is now for us to prepare ourselves. And just in case if you think that we're playing around here, it's not a game. It looks like it, but we know exactly what time it is. Just went a bit like, ooh. So I want to drop in something as well here. I have some notes. And I want to tell you the next thing that what else can, if you don't squander your seed, what else can you do instead of you ascending enlightenment 3D, 4D? You know those people, they'll be like, now you see me, bruh, this year, I no longer do with the low vibrations. I'm going to the 4D, bruh. You know, it's all about the manifestation. It's all, it's all about the law of attraction. Let me warn you. When it comes to healing, you obviously are going to get the energy. You, of course, going to have to. The more you heal, the more profoundly you become, the more that energy comes about. That's why I'm always like, wah, 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 wah. So now that energy, when it comes about, it doesn't necessarily only come to add in your life. Sometimes it comes to take. We have a lot of people that have matched their identities and values. We got people that think that their bank balance is them. We got people that think that houses is them. And when those houses get taken away, somebody goes into depression and all of a sudden right there, they just want to take their lives. Whoa! It's not the things that are happening on and outside that matter. What I'm trying to say is it's not always about having sex out there that matters. Sometimes you need to take that seed and see what you're going to do with it. Sigmund Freud, or Carl Gustav Jung, calls it libido. You know what libido is? Because I know... Wait, let me do this. I want to get my water here. So I'm trying to do some balancing act. You guys must share this podcast. You know, this thing, this life. Now, this thing, I want to, you know, I'm going to go to studios as well, where people will take us cameras with like 4Ds and 4Ks, with a bit of makeup, you know. Check now, I always have to apply something to my mouth. So you guys must share this life. Hopefully, I might, you know, end up with somebody who has a studio, who has a camera, who has a mic, who has a phone, you know, who has a plug. And plug the brother up, man. And for you guys as well, who are helping me on a personal basis, in a sense of helping us with the data costs, because you just love what we're talking about. But even if you don't love what we're talking about, just light another candle. A candle never loses a light by lighting another. Instead, if you don't light others, you're burning on both ends. Think about that. I sound a bit profound today, you know. I should actually be recording this, but nonetheless, it's fine. Hey, the ego. I like the way how it plays, you know. I like the way how it plays. It plays very well, so long as you know how the heck to play around with thyself. Now, apparently, and I know for you, there's a lot of people that would like to do this. A lot of people that are doing research. Every single time when you do the research, especially when it comes to how does sex help you to be enlightened, or how does sex assist you in ascending, or how is this abstinence or celibacy help you, walk around around these key areas. Libido somehow has something to do with the high energy levels, and somehow libido has something to do with kundalini. So when you do, if you're into this magnanimous amount of research, unless if I'm the only one, because you know with me I'm like a dog with a bone. You give me a subject, I just dive in. Yeah, I fight with my wife all the time. Hopefully she's not here. She's not. Cool, back to the business. Somehow I'm reminded by the words of Jim Rohn when he said, motivation, or trying to motivate somebody, it's not the ultimate. Before you can try to motivate anybody, or before you can try to uplift or try to educate or try to show somebody a rope, you firstly have to fix their attitude. You have to fix their office. You have to fix their philosophy. Because if you were to motivate somebody that is prone to killing, you have motivated a good prime serial killer. But firstly, you have to find out, where is your boat going? That's what I'm saying, the set of sails of your attitude, your aptitude. Where are you going? Are you one of the people that are much more inclined to things that you can see, touch, percept with 5 senses? Or are you somebody that is open-minded? Because a lot of what we're talking about here, if you are only 5 sensed, jailed, you'll have a bit of a problem. Somehow you have to make your mental jails fall apart. And what are those jails? Those are not physical bars. It's not like the jail. You know, when you speak about jail, people be like, no, I've never been arrested. I'm not talking about that. You the jailer here. Oh my word. So what happens is you have to break those things. And unfortunately, beliefs never were meant for your harm. You just did not let them go on time. We still have people that believe that raising their voice, it's a form of solving the argument. Because they learned it when they were like 12. Now you find you in a boardroom, but now you're behaving like a 15-year-old. Now we're looking at you and thinking, because you know these companies these days, you'll always have that old toppy with these small young guys. They have their BTech degrees, they have a master's, PhDs, professors, and like, whoa, lo, naman. So now, when you go, and by the way, I hope you guys are not taking anything here from the place of hate. I'm picking up on anybody here, even picking up on myself. That's why sometimes when you see me breaking and laughing, you have to understand that the iron sharpens iron. When you hear something that you don't like, before you react, ask yourself why. Because you have to fix yourself psychologically. So before you can start to go ahead with your life as well, I think it will be very important for you to decide, where the heck are you going? Are you much more inclined to the material things? And I want to make a very good disclaimer here. When I say, are you attached to material things, I'm not saying that you need to shy away from them or you need to hate them. No. Me as well, I want that man. Why do you think I always tell you guys to send the likes? Haven't you guys figured out? There's a difference though. There's a difference when your job has you or when you have your job. There's a difference when hate has you or when you have hate. There's a difference when fear has you or when you have fear. Big difference, subtle explanation. Because you have to understand that in your life, when you are open-hearted, even if something catastrophic was to happen to you, you'll be like, okay, it's painful. Yeah, you have to cry. Sometimes you have to react. I love a lot at the people that are on a spiritual journey, especially when they say, I just meditated, bro. I don't want to. Oh, my chakras are just holding on. Let me just finish. We'll talk about this thing at 6 o'clock. Let me do this. Let me just take in one subject. And I'll be getting out of here. We'll talk about it at 6 o'clock. I didn't cover a lot. I didn't speak about the Chandra in perspective. I didn't speak about... I shared something in a WhatsApp group where I showed you guys that, interestingly enough... Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering, I've stopped speaking about it. We're just musing right now. You don't have to take notes, but even if you were taking the notes, scratch them up, because I'm one guy that don't want to be believed. The bestest compliment for me is to take me on. And, but it's just funny the way how it is. But fuck it. Let's just then do this. I'm done with that. We'll talk about it at 6 o'clock. Hopefully, obviously, load shedding will be sang etela. Because we want to load shedding, we want to check it out. And Mukatlasi, how let's see, you tend to have a bit of a problem. But now, I'll close up the chapter on that one. I want to speak about two interesting things before I hop off. I'll speak about this, put a bit of a commercial, speak about the last one, and I'll be out of here. Thank you, Caroline. I really appreciate it as well. And if your ass is new here on a group or on a live session, follow the brother, like the page, share the page, join us at 6 o'clock, become one of our family. Becoming a family doesn't necessarily mean that you have to pay anything. It's only $3.99. That's how much it's going to cost you. It's obviously going to cost you your hate. It's going to cost you your conniving. It's going to cost you your jealousy. It's sometimes going to cost you your significance. So I love it. We just come here and we strip it all away, because that's a journey that we need to take. Mukatlas, plus give Valentine. And it's a bit drizzly on my side. So, we are allowed to be kinky, man. So this is what I want to tell you guys. Or the commercial, if you want to be part of the WhatsApp group, you can tell me how. But let me just drop it off, by the way. $3.99. I took that from Kanye West. You must check out the College Dropout album. Oof, oof, oof. So, what you do is, you follow the brother, you go to the WhatsApp. You follow the brother, that is, if you haven't. There's a number there on my link. On my bio, underneath there's a link. If you click that link, you go straight to the WhatsApp group. I'll send you the books that we've shared so far. There's a number on top of that link. By the way, that's a functional number. That's a brother's number. It's not to be abused, of course. But I mean, I'll take an abuse of a form of, if somebody sends a bit of, something to buy the bit of a data. Because the chip sometimes, my hand sometimes tends not to get to my pocket. So, Kasotu, you'll understand. And for the people that have continued to do that, I really appreciate it. They've statedly and outspokenly said that they should not be pronounced. And a lot of people I know, they like being like that. And by the way, even if you said I should, you should just go and start your own YouTube channel. When you give, you give. You don't give to be publicized. Boom! I can drop the mic then, eh? Hey, I'm just teasing, man. But thank you very much, guys, for the two things I just want to drop up with. Did you know that in an animal kingdom, or in a natural kingdom, there are species of animals that are not so very much fascinated by sex? To them, it's just the add-on, They'll be like, yeah, we all about this, bro. We're not about this, we all about this. So then what happens is, I've just jotted down the few. This afternoon, I could not wait. I had to send the one of the praying mantis. Did you guys see it? It is allegedly said that in a world of the praying mantis, the praying mantis. By the way, the praying mantis is not just an insect. There's a huge story behind that. It's just like the beetle dung. One day I'll share a story about it, and you'll be blown out of your proportion. That thing that you see, Ribita Mariface, apparently, when they get to engage in a sexual activity, the sister, after they do, or in the middle of the business, the sister tends to bite, or biologically has to bite, the male's head, literally. So this poor guy that was trying to procreate is actually fucking himself to death. And there's a very interesting anatomical process there. This is what it says. It says, I want you guys to listen to how nature is. It's such a fascinating experience. When praying mantis tend to copulate or to consummate or to procreate, they somehow tend to, because in size-wise, the male one, it's a bit smaller than, the female is always for it to carry the whole civilization. When this fellow, gets it inside, the fellow has to die, but for some reason, the fellow is so smart. The brain, the part of the brain that makes it to move its body, to do that whole business. The mantis, the male one, knows that it has to transfer that brain to the tip of at the back, there's a little bit of, I can't remember, we call it the tailbone. There's a bit of a section where the praying mantis, the male one, takes that brain and puts it there, so that even if the head has been decapitated, it can still go on to lay in the eggs. Think about that. And here you are, you thinking that you are selfless, and you can't even give a like. See, some people are giving their lives. Wait, I'm not done. Oh my word, okay, no, today's a party. Oh shit. Okay, cool. Still remembering about that. Black Roots, you should have some comment etiquette. I think we must have some comments etiquette. So, this is what we're gonna do, right? So, oh shit. Oh my word. Oh, you killed my ass. So, it's not only, it turns out as well, there's some species of chameleons that tend to die out. Oh shit. There's some species of chameleon that tends to die out of, like after they procreate, they tend to die. I know that the spider, some of the red species as well, they tend to do that. So there's a lot of people that have dedicated their lot to this thing of life. They're even willing to die for it. So, just so long as the genes could be passed. But before I leave the subject of things that die, I want to share something very interesting with you guys. That, did you know that when it comes to pigs, or the so-called, piggeries, oh shit, oh no, this is a turn up, eh? A pig gets to have 30 minutes orgasm. Where's my thingy? Yeah, you heard me right, it's not a mistake. A pig can go for 30 minutes coming, all the way through and through. And now it's not only one-sided. I mean, you should look at them engaging in a business. It's not only one-sided. The sister as well is getting it for the whole 30 minutes. Why do you think that a lot of things have to be said about the pigs? But nonetheless, here's my last thing that I want to finish up with. Oh, before I go, yeah, the whole 30 minutes. Hey, shout, yeah, boy. Hey, dear Porter. So I can just imagine, like Black Root says, the wages of sin is death. That's why religiously, pig has never been a friend of religious people. When I say religiously, I don't have a problem with religion, by the way, just for the people that think that I'm coming from the place of hate. The only issue that I have with the religion is set of beliefs. I don't do well with beliefs, because what if today I learned that I'm this, and what if tomorrow I want to learn that I'm something else different? Does it mean that I don't have to change? But now you're limiting me, because if there's one thing that is constant, we've been told all the time, it's change. So if you don't want me to change, you call me contradictory, which, by the way, I want to become a bit of a warning brother. There are a lot of people that like poking holes on religion by pointing out the contradictions of the Bible. That's not only cocomelon tendencies, but it's very childish at best. Because if there's anything that is constant, things are supposed to change. Not all things, you know, because when you are married, you know, it's not like in India, even in Africa, South Africa, anywhere in the West, unfortunately, for an example, we are not allowed to engage in what India, it's such a normal thing. In India, you'll just find people walking butt naked. Because to them, beliefs is like, why do you want to limit yourself? You should go see the temples in India, which, by the way, you know, I'm trying to, if you guys have not picked it up, these TikTok likes. By the time when I become of that positive bank balance, the brother just wants to take an excursion somewhere, you know. But, so, if you see the temples, when you Google it, whatever that you do, you'll see that in India they have temples that look very tantric, hey? Tantric is something that they call sexual yoga. So you should not be ashamed of your organs. They are your organs. And we all know that given a chance, whoa, oh, you blasted out, eh? So don't be coming here and thinking, well, now when we speak about sex, you're going to be like, now you see me, my brother, I'm from a, you know, no, we know, give it a chance. You bang it out, bro. You bang it out, sis. But I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Enjoy yourself. Maloka. Guys, you making noise. Today, thank you. Today. No, you guys killed my ass. Now, if you go to, but then let me not digress a lot with this thing, because there's a lot that I need to tell you guys about, but I want to finish up with this. Did you know that all of us, when we were born, or when we came about, I don't know, there's a biological process, they'll tell you you are a fetus, you are this, you are that, you are that, but I'm just going to do it in terms of months. I don't have time to encapsulate the whole biological process. But did you know that the first 2 months of our existence, that is when you are coming as a baby, while you are in your mother's womb, for almost 2 months, all of us are born androgynous. We are hermaphrodites. Check that word out. I don't want to tell you what it is. I'm having fun with your guys' ass here. When we are born, for the first 2 months, we are androgynous. We are hermaphrodites. I'm going to pick advice. Meaning, we don't necessarily have a sex until we are around about like 2 months in the game. And some people go as far as making this bold claim. All cells, when this thing of making a baby happens, when the baby comes about from the conception, it's born feminine. Think about it. Especially if you want to go deeper into these things, because you will know that if you study the likes of Carl Gustav Jung, the guy that speaks about the psychoanalyst, he will tell you that at some point in your life, you have what we call the anima and the animus, meaning the masculine and the feminine energy, the left-hand brain and the right-hand brain, your heart and your brain. I would leave you guys with that. What you want to do with it, you do whatever that you want to do with it. But we're done with it. I'm not going to say much. Later on, we're just going to speak about, you know, sex, but not only in the terms of Big Bang only. No, not the Big Bang only, baby. We're talking about the inside Big Bang. The inside Big Bang is a regeneration. Loosely translated, because I don't have time, that which was supposed to go out, it's supposed to go in. So you ingest it. Creepy, eh? Like, ooh, swallow. Oh, what is this month of February? It's such a kinky month. So when you hear me being kinky, forgive me. I'm embracing my lower side of life. So, and by the way, when I say lower side of life, don't think that it's something derogatory. No. The carnal mind, I mean, your soul uses your body to live. So why would you want to deprive the container that has been used by the eternal power? Huh? Have you maybe figured it out? So, just a bit of a commercial. I'm done. So anybody else that was here, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for the likes. See you guys at 6 o'clock. Obviously, if load shedding is not on my side. Today we were talking about sex. We had a blast. We had a good time. And if you're new here to the page, follow the brother. If you got something to do or a few minutes to spare after this, go to the catalog of my videos right here on TikTok. There's a lot of videos that I did. Systematically, some of them I'm repeating because a lot of time I have to invest in doing this. So if you hear me not doing videos on TikTok, don't be like, ooh, it's like now reproducing. Oh, there's a lot where that came from. We're just waiting for some few new features. With your guys' help, with the likes, with the algorithm. By the way, I want to end up with this. Hopefully my network is not going to get cut. A lot of people have been requesting this sessions, if it was possible, that they can be physical. We got to do that. And some people called it a retreat. By the way, the name, we got it right here from the platform. A lot of people are showing interest, a huge amount of interest. A lot of people have joined us to help us with the logistics, in a sense of, the callings, the bookings, the finding out, the transportations. Some of the people were looking into to say, if we come in from one area, can't we just get maybe one common mode of transport? If we book this, how much is it going to be, so that the people can be there? I know that there's some of the people that are coming from Cape Town, or somebody's coming from Cape Town. Somebody was telling us or asking us if they get dropped off at the likes of like Boma Harry Smith, some of people, Kestel, can they be able to be picked up? So now these are the close areas, and we want to logistically get this thing up and running. But unfortunately, because of the bookings, the logisticals of the bookings, for the people not showing out the intention or writing their names down, we can't also tell the people on the other side. What we're planning to do is, it's a retreat going into the night. We're planning, or what's in my head, let me just play what's in my head. We get there on a Saturday morning, run about 9-ish, 10-ish. It's a check-in kind of type of shandies. For you guys that have never went on something like this, I need you guys to be open-minded. It's an excursion of some sort. It's like, if you've never had a camping experience, beautiful stuff though. It's not like, that, no, it's a beautiful, some people I know that they were asking about the security. I don't think it's going to be an issue. This is something that has been held there. We're not going to be the first ones. But for us, it's a first time of its kind. We don't even know what is it that we're doing, but you guys asked for it. For some reason, it got to happen. So we're looking into getting around about like 40 people. 40 people, obviously, we are being cognizant of the fact that somebody might not want to come alone. These things, especially, a lot of us have been duped on the social medias. You guys don't know me, I don't know you, there's no way to vet, but something in you, it's like, yeah, you see, but, yeah, That's why I say to you guys, we can take 20 people that are normally with us on the channel. You can come with a friend, you can come with your partner. We're going to be looking into sharing up the tents. We're going to be looking into talking up through the night. So we're going to get there 10 o'clock in the morning. Obviously, check out wherever we are. Check every single thing in while they're busy preparing whatever. We have a choice, by the way, of sleeping inside, but we deliberately went to make it, we want to make it a bit of a, not an uncomfortable, but a bit of an urgy. It's a bit of an edgy experience, taking you out of the comfort zone. A lot of people have been asking, why is it in particular, have we chose Eastern Free State in particular? It has something to do with, if you've guessed it has something to do with the energies. And by the way, I'm not purporting or trying to sell any geographical areas. I don't have any interest. I mean, imagining having an interest in a geographical area. We know who do, and they took it from who. But that is politics. I'm not about that. I like, Joy, there's this thing that is happening. We call it a retreat. A lot of people have been asking for us to have these things on a face-to-face basis, to find ourselves all in one roof. It's the first time us doing this thing. We've only launched it on a social media. We've launched it particularly on TikTok with a couple of videos on YouTube. So a lot of people say, no, we just like the vibes, man, and we also want to do a bit of a traveling and stuff. So we thought, okay, fine, we've earmarked the date. We got the 24th, 25th, 26th. So you want to make it a bit of an excursion kind of type of thing, an outdoor kind of type of experience. There'll obviously be a whole lot amount of native kind of type activities. A lot of people I know, even though you want to sound as if like you're smart, you probably haven't ridden a horse. So we're gonna hook you up, you know. We're gonna be like, yeah, take a horse. And a lot of you guys, there's a lot of things that we're gonna be doing. The meals that are gonna be shared, the place that we chose, they got fantastic, beautiful food, and the venue as well, and the way. The terrain, when you get to Kwakwa, you'll know that Kwakwa is something that is, it's like it's in a pot. So for some reason, where we're going, it's a bit higher, the terrain, it's nice, the outlook, and plus there's a bonus, it's a journey to healing. We're all going to be there. We're looking into getting around about like 40 people. 20 obviously could be familiar people. 20 additional people that will be coming with, just for the comfort, because you don't want to get bored, even though you're not going to be able to do that, because there's not going to be a chance. You're going to have to become your friend when we get out of there. Because I want us to do a whole lot amount of exercises. I want us to facilitate some breathing exercises. A lot of you guys might have known, or you might have come across the likes of Wim Hof breathing exercises. I want to explain to you guys the science behind the brown fat cells. Why is it that when you breathe at some point you can get hold of what we call autonomic nervous system? So you can control your breathing, you can control your heart rate, you can control this. So there's a lot of things that we have to... You're coming alone. So, Joy, that's what is happening. If you're in a WhatsApp group, I will reshare the video. The details that you, or the person that you need to contact, it's Lerato, that's a moderator, that's my wife. We're getting this thing together. We don't know anything about the logistics. We've tried to cut the cost to the bones to make sure that nothing gets passed to the people. But unfortunately, we have to book. We have to arrange some of the activities. There's a couple of things that we have to do. But you'll see as she explains it and as she breaks it down, where is everything that you give goes. Goes to the tent, it goes to the lunch, it goes to the death, goes to whatever. So the reason why I don't like talking about it too much, I'm not that good when it comes to the selling thing, because my job is just to work the lyrical. So hopefully I've done it a bit of a justice, because I've been, lashed in the past to say, this thing you only speak about 1 minute. It's like you don't want to do it, you see. But I did it. If you want to be part of the retreat, please come along. After FS, you can host the retreat. Yeah, that's what we're looking into doing. How did you read my mind? So the reason why we also chose the East State is this. You will know that the Earth, the planet, the universe has chakras as well, called energy centers, measured by the layman matrix. So, when you get to the highly concentrated, congested area, especially in terms of fumes, in terms of leads, in terms of carbon dioxide, in terms of whatever, it tends to affect your etheric self, your astral self. For some reason, some of your atoms are unable to express themselves because it's too much. So the reason why we did that, we will also fully explain it when we get there as to why, some people might be like, oh, so far. We'll have to join. No, it's okay, Black Roots, it's all good. Drakensberg, right? No, Kikukai, Dinkwing. But I'll try to share, I don't know if Black Roots, you in a WhatsApp group, I'll try to share the link. It has some of those details. But nonetheless, until we meet again, guys, at 6 o'clock. 21,000 likes. Yeah, thank you very much for each and every single thing. See you guys at 6 o'clock. And if you want further details, I'll send something in a group right now.